When it comes to surviving in the wild, not all information is created equal. There are plenty of things that you can do to increase your odds of survival in the wild, but there's also a lot of bad advice out there. Today, we're going to be covering the top 5 survival myths that are just simply not true, and one of them will actually put you at higher risk of dying. So let's get started. Hi, I'm the Director of Content here at the Survival Institute. We help prepare you for everything you might face before, during, or after a survival situation, and this week, we're talking about the top 5 survival myths that have been busted. The first myth that we are going to talk about today is that you need to eat a pound of trail mix to meet your caloric needs for the day. This is simply not true. You don't have to consume a pound of anything to meet your caloric needs for the day. This is an old wives' tale that came about back when trail mix was typically nuts and dried fruit. And yes, a pound of nuts and dried fruit will give you approximately 2,000 calories, but trail mix now includes many other items such as M&Ms, pretzels, and other high-carbohydrate, low-calorie filler foods. A pound of trail mix may seem like a lot of food to carry around, but it is unnecessary. A much more reasonable amount would be about half a pound, which still exceeds the recommended daily intake of most people. The key is to choose the right ingredients. Choose trail mix with a high fat and protein content and avoid the high carb and low nutritional value fillers. That being said, if you do find yourself in a situation where you only have access to the sugary trail mixes, it will certainly help sustain your energy levels better than nothing. Now moving on to our second myth. The second myth is that you should only drink bottled water in the wilderness. This is another potentially dangerous myth. If you find yourself in the wilderness and become lost or injured, drinking from natural sources of water such as rivers, lakes, and streams can help replenish your fluids and increase your odds of survival. Bottled water is certainly safer than untreated natural water sources, but boiling or purifying any water that you collect in the wild will reduce the risk of illness and infection. One way to purify water in the wilderness is using a stove to boil it for 100 temperature for 1 minute. If you don't have a stove, then you can cover the mouth of a clean jar or bottle with a cloth and use rocks to form a makeshift solar still. Lay the jar or bottle on the ground and place a weight on top. Then use a stick to poke a small hole in the center of the cloth covering the container. Once the water starts to drip into the container, you can safely drink it. If you have a filter with you, then simply running the water through the filter will remove sediment and most harmful bacteria and parasites. Moving on to our third myth. The third myth is that matches are useless in wet conditions. And this is false. While it is true that matches are less reliable in wet conditions, they are not completely useless. It is harder to strike a match in wet conditions, but it is not impossible. To improve your chances of striking a match in the rain or snow, try these tips. First, keep the match in a dry place until you're ready to use it. Second, strike the match against a rough surface like sandpaper or the side of a tree. Third, try striking the match at an angle rather than straight on. Fourth, keep the match head close to the fuel source. Fifth, do not attempt to light the match in the rain. Instead, hold the match perpendicular to the raindrops so that the water runs off the matchstick. And finally, practice lighting matches in wet conditions so that you know what to do when the time comes. It's also a good idea to bring along a ferrocerium flint and steel bow drill, lighter or other fire-starting tools in addition to matches, so that you are not completely out of luck if your matches happen to get wet. Now moving on to our fourth myth. The fourth myth is that a knife is the most important tool in your survival kit. Now, while knives are versatile tools that can help you perform many tasks in the wilderness, they're not necessarily the most important tool to have. The truth is that the most important survival tool is the one that you have with you at the time of an emergency. Some people may think that a flashlight is the most important tool because it helps them navigate in the dark or signal for help. Others may believe that a compass or map is the most critical tool because it helps them stay on course and avoid getting lost. And still others may think that a whistle or mirror is the most vital tool because it can be used to signal for help. Ultimately, the most crucial tool is the one that is best suited to your particular needs and the environment that you are in. For example, a compass may be more important for someone who's hiking in the woods, while a flashlight may be more critical for someone who's camping in a cave. As far as knives go, a fixed blade knife is great for outdoor use because it has several advantages over a folding pocket knife. Fixed blades are generally safer to use since the blade is locked in place and cannot fold into your hand. They're also usually sturdier and can withstand more abuse without breaking. They tend to be larger and thicker than folding knives, making them more useful for heavy-duty tasks like processing game or chopping wood. and they have a more consistent edge retention, meaning that they stay sharper for longer and require less frequent sharpening. Of course, it is always a good idea to include a knife in your survival kit because it is indeed a very versatile tool. But it shouldn't be the only tool that you have. And now we've come to our fifth and final myth. The fifth myth is that sleeping under a bridge can help protect you from bears. This is false. Sleeping under a bridge does not protect you from bears. In fact, it may make you more vulnerable, because bears are often attracted to human activity, and the shelter of a bridge offers both. Bears are excellent swimmers and can easily cross running water, so hiding under a bridge will not prevent a bear from finding you. Instead, it may lead to an increased risk of a bear encounter and subsequent attack. If you find yourself in bear country, it's important to take steps to prevent bear attacks. These steps include storing food properly, making noise while hiking, and carrying bear spray. Sleeping in bear bags can also be helpful in preventing bear encounters. Ultimately, sleeping under a bridge is not a safe or effective strategy for avoiding bears, so never use it as a defense mechanism. Now, I'd love to hear from you. What survival myths have you heard? Let us know in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up. We'll let you know every time we come out with new videos like this one. Stay safe, stay ready,